I know I just made a video, but this needs to be shown. I need clips and visuals for all the different events that have happened recently. Landslides, floods, earthquakes, fires, etc. It needs to be seen, and then you get some of the reactions from people in their native language. And this is the most important thing to take home and to remember. Cattle mutilations were a demonstration of divine attributes and a 50-year multi-continent divine warning. Well, what happens after a divine warning? The real punishment begins. Historically, this is what every culture believed. You get a warning, you get a little bit of pause to learn or to change your ways. That rarely happens because the warning lasted 60 years here, and that didn't change anything. So you have a demonstration of like divine magic globally for 60 years. And other than a few mentions on Joe Rogan and a half-hearted attempt by the FBI to solve it, nothing happens. I solve it this summer on July 8th. 3 days later, the sun turns into a cow, a 100,000-mile-long solar prominence called the Beast. Literally looks like a cow. And mutilations stopped. They haven't come back. This is a demonstration of responsiveness. So this intelligence knows what's going on here. That's why it's angry. I mean, look at the state of the world. Look at the destruction. The exploitation of nature is the issue. The abandonment of reciprocity and animism toward dominion theology is the issue. And then so you get this sequence of floods. There were 77 across December 2025 and January 2026. And the floods are in areas that hit at least one of these three categories. They either have extremely brutal livestock processing as a replacement for long-term wild hunting. This would be Queensland, Argentina, and a lot of other places. They're a location that abandon animism in favor of dominion theology. Dominion theology means man over nature, that the spirit and the divine is outside of nature. So you don't really have to respect nature because it has no divinity, it has no spirit, there's nothing to it. It's just raw materials for you to use like a pile of cement. And that's exactly how people, a lot of places, treat nature. That's a major part of this issue. And then third, there's been some symbolic targeting. I've labeled this divine force Artemis because of the archetypal match. And there have been floods in the Mediterranean area that are very, very proximal to where that she was historically revered and believed in. So there you go. Up to within like 15 kilometers of the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, which was the biggest temple of any for any Greek god or goddess, because she was the goddess of the wild, of the hunt, and she was feared but also revered. So the Greeks made sure to pay her due respects. And that was destroyed a long time ago, violently, and replaced by dominion theology, which has taken over large parts of the planet, and those parts of the planet are now getting hit back very hard. So here's some clips to give you a visceral feel for what has been happening on Earth, because the news will not show you this. Again, 77 floods, or 77 countries were flooded December 2025 into January 2026. And there were a couple of interesting synchronicities recently, actually. Monday, there was a sinkhole on Empire Church Road in Florida. Empire Church Road, there you go. There's the connection to dominion theology. 7 a.m. The next day, 7 a.m., a house fire next to Percy Priest Lake. There you go. There's another one. And then an earthquake swarmed that same morning in California near San Ramon. San Ramon was the patron saint of childbirth. That was Artemis's realm, the goddess of childbirth, the protector of young girls, and the goddess of birth. So that's three straight hits. And at the time I'm recording this, something else might have happened today to continue this. But you guys can eventually start doing your own research and know what to look for, because this has been super consistent. Symbolic messages, symbolic communication from this intelligence. That's what cattle mutilations was a symbolic communication system, and that has stopped, and now it's been followed by a reckoning sequence that seems to be clearly escalating. And the sun is releasing X-class flare after X-class flare, but no coronal mass ejection because it's staying coiled like a super predator. So Be warned, these videos are intense, but they're worth seeing. But don't watch if you have a lot of anxiety or whatever. Just you should tell people if you can, unless they'll look at you funny. But just tell them, check out Sound Science 5170, because he has a clue. Nobody else is talking about this. Everybody else is like, well, this is just 77 countries flood, and people say it's what? Cloud seeding? As if the government is omnipotent. Maybe they would want you to think that, but they aren't. They can't control the weather at that level. They can barely control the weather at all, at any level, anywhere. Like cloud seeding might do 10 to 15% more rain for a cloud that's already formed. They can't even form clouds. So give up on that. And it's not climate change, because climate change doesn't target like this. You don't get the Bible Belt and the Mediterranean and then other areas skipped over entirely. So watch these clips just to give you a sense of the intensity of what's happening globally. Thank you.
All the caravans are about to get flushed away. Yeah.
kaçın. Gitsin lan bırakın. Lan kaçın. Kaçın ulan. Ulan kaçın lan. Araba nereye gitti görüyor musun? Görüyor musunuz 2 tane araba nereye gitti? Gördünüz mü al. Size söylendi kaçın diye. Kaçın diye söylendi size kaçın. Köprü gidecek şimdi köprü. Ya Resulallah.
Did y'all see the front of our house?
Ne? Sel oldu baksana. Bizim araba nerede ki?
Voy.
Misericórdia, só Deus, Deus na alma desse cara aí, isso tudo. Os caras tudo boiando no capão redondo, cara. Não é brinquedo não.
Meu, tá parecendo uma pomba, olha isso.
Tomara que não.
Você tá
Kimin arabası? Arabalar gidiyor. Arabalar gidiyor.